our 1911 Franklin Model D Desert Racer. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this is our 1911 Franklin Model D Desert Racer. We built this a few years ago, and I saw the original car in the museum at Phoenix Art Museum during the pandemic. They had a display there, actually before the pandemic. It ended with the pandemic in 2000, called Legends of Speed. And there's a lot of race cars there. This was the oldest one. This is a 1911. And those cars in that display went from 1911 until about 1975 or something like that. This was in the lobby. We got a lot of great photographs of the original car. It's in as-run, original, unrestored condition. The gentleman who owns it now has kept it in unrestored condition. It's one of the only surviving cars from the era that's actually the original motor, wheels, everything's original on it. It's pretty amazing. This car ran in the 1910 Desert Race, which was a race from Los Angeles to Phoenix. In 1910, there weren't roads from Los Angeles to Phoenix. There was byways for the railroads, and there was railroad bridges, and there was some mining roads and things like that, but there wasn't really what you would consider a road. And every year they did that race from 1909 to about 1914 or 15. The route changed. It went through Prescott, or went through Wickenburg, or went through Yuma, different places around Arizona. So this had a really strong Arizona connection. The race ended in Phoenix, in downtown Phoenix, and this car came in second place, is what I understand, in 1910 with Ralph Hamblin. This car, because at the time the manufacturers were all vying for superiority. Some felt like steam power was the only way to do it. Some felt the internal combustion engine had come around enough to where it could be mass produced. And in the internal combustion engines, they had air-cooled engines, they had water-cooled engines. The Franklin happens to be an air-cooled engine. The idea being that on a long trip, all you need to do is supply gasoline. You wouldn't need to bring gasoline and water. Whereas anybody that has a gasoline engine at that time, the radiator systems, basically you lost your water because the engine's boiled over. The water would just be lost to the ground. You'd have to replace the water. So in the race, the racers would set up barrels of water and fuel in the desert ahead of them. So as they pulled through certain areas, they had to find their stash of gasoline or water. And the Franklin thought they had a big advantage because they only needed gasoline. They did not need water. This Franklin campaigned, or Ralph Hamblin campaigned of Franklin in every race previous to that. I think the first 2 or 3 years he tried to win it, he was one of the organizers. And the first year, I think he got lost. The second year, mechanical problems. Anyway, there's lots and lots of stories about the desert race, which I had never heard of until the year 2000, when we had this pretty amazing display at the Phoenix Art Museum of all these race cars. This was there. I modeled this car about this, and my dad's Duesenberg was on display there, the 1913 Duesenberg, driven by D. Rickenbacker. But I wanted to do a Edwardian style CycleKart, which is what this is. So it's a lot larger size scale CycleKart. And the Edwardian basically is slightly larger wheels. You're going to do an 18-inch wheel. This is 18-inch. And you sit above your axle instead of being kind of below your axle. A lot of CycleKarts you sit down low. This one obviously you sit high. So the rule of thumb is 4 inches above the rear axle, and this is quite a bit more than 4 inches above the rear axle. I worked really hard to get the proportions of this car right. My friend Kelly Wood helped me when I was in the design phase. I would send him sketches, and he would send back some ideas on how to make it look a little more appropriate, more like the original car. I think we really kind of got the caricature of the car correct. It's an all aluminum body, all hand formed. The frame is a steel 1x3 rectangle framing, and we've got buggy springs front and rear. The original car would have full elliptical, in other words, a spring on top and a spring on bottom. With that, it would be really tall. So I decided to do a 3/4 elliptical, so we chopped the back quarter off one of the springs, and it dropped it down a couple inches to get the profile to where I thought it was more appealing. So it does have full suspension, front and rear at the back. Has a swing arm back here so that the back end does have suspension on it. We designed this so that it would be really a cruiser. This is not designed for high speed with a high center of gravity. It's not super safe on corners and things like that. But we built it for the idea that we'd run it at the 24-hour Wilcox race. And we did that a couple times. It's done really well. Not this year, but the previous year, I campaigned it solo and came in, I think, fourth place, I think, something like that. It has headlights and tail lights. These are functional headlights, these big giant cans out front, which kind of simulate the original kerosene type lamp that would be on here. The wheels are cast aluminum. We got those from a website from China. They're from a Suzuki GS 125, I think it was. And the steering wheel is an original Model T steering wheel. We just flipped it upside down. I've got a functional handbrake here. This is off a 1930 something Cadillac, we think. And it works well for, I've got two different brake systems on the back. One's a mechanical brake, cable operated, and the other is a hydraulic brake, which is kind of the main braking that we use. This car's been a great car for us. It's been a lot of fun to build. Like I said, we got a lot of details in it, leather straps, and these pipes for the 6-cylinder engine. And if you notice, there's more than 6 pipes here. The Franklin 6-cylinder engine had some decompression pipes. The engine required some, I guess, an extra couple of outlets for exhaust gas or inlet gas. You see we built a custom drop axle to mimic the original axle. So it's got this kind of a U-shape, continuous bend all the way across the entire axle, so it's not straight at any point really. And I've got Renegade spindles that I modified to fit for our application. These are the 3/4 elliptical springs down here. Those are from Ingles Quote Shop. These headlights I made, these are actually, I think they're 8-inch cake tins, one here and one back here, and I connected it with some aluminum sheeting and put LED lights inside there, and I bent these pieces of tubing to create the headlight stanchions. I'll flip those on, show you how bright those are. See, they put off quite a lot of light in the darkness. So when I built this, I wanted the hood to be functional, so I've got real leather straps, and I've used these. These are basically springs for your patio door. I had those laying around the garage, so I used them. Made the hood functional. So under the hood, we've got the electrical system, got the accelerator pedal, brake pedal, and master cylinder, brake reservoir, and a little 12-volt battery to run the electrical system. This does have an electric starter on it, so that electrical system's functional and provides charging ability. I do put it on a trickle charger when it's not in use, just to keep the battery charged up. But the electric starter makes it easy for this car. Here's our handbrake. So it's a push. You push it and it locks in place, and you pull it back and it locks it. That's how that works. Toward the back of the car, again, we have springs, and there's an engine down here that's on a swing arm underneath the car. And on the back, I had this would be the fuel tank on the original car, but I decided to make it like a trunk area, so you can put stuff in here, tools, or, well, a lot of times we carry Hot Wheels in here when we go to car shows and hand Hot Wheels out. And here's the actual fuel tank that provides fuel for the car. This is just a little spun aluminum tank we found on Amazon. So we tried to mimic the original wood frame on the car, so I used a little method to kind of create wood graining in the metal, to make the metal look like wood graining. That replicates it fairly closely. And of course we worked really hard to make it look old, so we took the paint job and through a patina method with some mineral spirits and paint, sprayed on paint and then washed it off or wiped it off with a brush or a rag. And it's got wood floors in it. So this is like a tongue and groove wood planks are here to create the floor throughout the entire back, all the way to the back of the car. You get some little details. I've got some, kind of looks like handmade or iron shop bolt nuts and bolts. Back in 1911, nuts and bolts were much different. So in keeping with the original car was an air-cooled engine. This car is also an air-cooled engine. This has a Honda GX200 in it. My friend Kelly Wood gave me a motor, gosh, probably 10 years ago. It's been sitting in my garage ever since. So I put that motor to use. This is just a stock GX200. I added a starting circuit to it, which is just a starter motor and a different flywheel. And so it's a very stock motor, and the gearing is set up for these wheels. This car maxes out at about 35 miles an hour. It will not go any faster than that unless you have downhill, which is plenty fast in this car. 35 miles an hour doesn't sound super fast compared to our other CycleKarts, but in this car it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour. Nice smooth ride. It's been reliable and dependable. We've had a few issues with it here and there with suspension and stuff. It's created some problems with the braking spark plugs. The spark plug had a little nipple at the top of it. It kept hitting the floor and cracking, but we solved that problem by getting rid of that and putting a different type plug on it. But really, that's been the only issue it's had, other than a dirty carburetor from running in the dirt down in Wilcox. But this has been a fun build for us. It took a little over a year maybe to put it together, and some finalized details took a little longer than that, but it's been an adventure. It seems like people really like seeing it when it comes out to CycleKart shows and car shows in general. And hey guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Get out and like the other videos, and get out in the garage and build something cool.